or liberation just have vastly different understandings of what liberation is for.
I haven't seen this much importance and attention.
The story itself is a really wonderful, really great setup.
Tractor beam has been engaged.
Hello, everyone. Happy holidays and welcome to the Tractor Beam Comics Reviews, your one-stop shop for in-depth commentary and discussion on this week's Star Wars comics, last week's Star Wars comics, an insider short story, all that. It is Wednesday, December 17th, 2025. It's the 51st of 53 weeks of comics in 2025 because the 31st is a Wednesday, but it is also the last Tractor Beam of the year because we're taking a break after this, coming back in January. But yeah, I'm Matthew coming to you from Underworld North here in Toronto, and that's Chris coming from Underworld, New Jersey, down in New Jersey. How you doing, Chris? Nice sweater.
Oh yeah, it's that time of the year, everybody. So hopefully we all get some cool Star Wars gifts for the holidays here. Yes. I'm still reeling from all that crazy Star Wars video game news from last week. So.
Yeah. There we go. Yeah, you got your video game madness fix. There we go. Well, yeah, I think I'm getting that gingerbread Lego. I'm also getting an air fryer. I'm old now. I'm a grown up. I gotta cook. Get plugs out of the way. Follow us on Blue Sky at the Tractor Beam, Tractor Beam on Blue Sky .social, and at the SWU for Twitter, Instagram, Threads. I believe tomorrow's solicits are coming out, and if there is, I believe so. And so if there is anything new, yeah, I mean, I'll throw it up onto the Tractor Beam Blue Sky, but also keep it locked on the Underworld. I'll pass it on to Ben and Joel for them to post up. So yeah, check that out. That's Twitter, Instagram, Threads, all that stuff, and of course everything Chris is up to at Star Raptor. That's on Twitter and youtube.com/StarRaptor StarRapter. Also, I do want to mention the Iron Cannon podcast. This past week, Joel and I did a year in review, but it kind of ended up at the end mentioning this because we had a good discussion on the future of comics and how we kind of have to shift our mindset about what a long run is or what Marvel's gonna do. So yeah, check that out. That's also right here on the Underworld YouTube channel, and yeah, Spotify and Apple Podcasts, Iron Cannon podcast. But also, speaking of which, Spotify and Apple, the Tractor Beam Star Wars Comics Reviews is on Spotify and Apple and YouTube podcast and wherever you get your audio podcasts. So give that a look, give that a check out if audio is more your speed. Lastly, we are a part of the Star Wars Underworld podcast network, along with the Iron Cannon podcast, and of course the flagship, the Star Wars Underworld. And yeah, there we got all across the network there. And here on the Underworld YouTube channel, we have super chats, we have YouTube memberships. So if we if you comment, like I see some comments down below, it's pretty good down there. We'll get to it eventually. We'll get to it soon enough. If you super chat us, we'll interrupt ourselves. So if you want to get in there immediately, give us some shekels, give us some denarii, give us some dollars, Canadian dollars, American dollars, Australian dollars, whatever, what have you. We appreciate any support you're willing to provide to the channel and to the network. And of course, down in the description below, get to our Discord server, the Underworld Discord server, where there's game nights and movie nights and all that fun stuff happening. So do check that out. Yes. Well, I said we'll get to your comment. We'll get to your comment. There we go. How's it going? There we go. I believe, yeah, this is on YouTube Shorts too. Nope, this is live. This is live. We're going live. It is 9:07 Eastern time right now. And there we go. I don't know what else is going on there. Anyway, dive in there. The whole new world with this YouTube.
What's going on right now?
Vertical thing going on that people are probably checking us out on. Okay. Eyeballs are eyeballs. Engagement is engagement. Anyway,
Yes, we are live, everybody. This is not pre-recorded. I don't think we've ever done a pre-recorded podcast. I have on my channel, but not on here.
We I mean, kind of done something. Anyway, let's dive into the stories, Chris, shall we? Moving right along. We have 4 stories in one news item, oddly enough, surprisingly. So let's dive into this. First off is Galactic Tales, a loose connection. It's in Insider number 235. That, of course, is written by the inimitable, incredible Kristen Baver. Here is the cover of Insider 235, written by Kristen Baver, and concept art from The Force Awakens, I believe, by Eric Tiemens and Yannick Dussault. And just kind of briefly mention this, it was a really kind of a surprising, nice little reflection on, The Force Awakens at 10. Happened the other day, I think, or was it today? And here we get a story of Rey when she's 13, and we now know what happens, of course, with her parents, what really happened, partly because Kristen would care about what Adam Christopher wrote in Shadow of the Sith. And so this is about 6 years after that, or no, 13 years after that, whenever it is. And I guess 6 years after that. And here she is minding Unkar's shop, literally being given the key, say, hold the fort down. And in comes this Basilisk trader who it was this really, I was like, okay, is she going to get taken advantage of? Is she going to learn a hard lesson or something? And she does learn a hard lesson. The hard lesson is some people actually can be kind. And this was this nice little glimmer of kindness in Niima Outpost. And so, there wasn't too much to get into in this, but it does show that Rey was primed to know what it feels like for people to actually give her food and give her company and give her kindness and friendship and actually believe in her and her abilities. Unlike Unkar, who kind of, I guess in his own way, believed in her, but had to just use her. This kid sticking around. What do we do? Well, might as well give her the scraps or whatever, make her forage. But here's this Basilisk trader saying there's more to life than just eking out an existence, and it's going to require you to leave Jakku. And 6 years after this, of course, is The Force Awakens, right? She's about 19 there. A lot happens between ages 13 to 19 for everyone. But, I can kind of see her tapping into this memory of, this is what kindness feels like. This is what welcome and belonging feel like. And so Kristen really doing a great job, as she always does, finding the story, kind of like the journalist finding the story, but here finding the story of how Rey was able to accept Leia's friendship and Poe's and Finn's friendship, and in a way Luke's sort of care in his own way, but and ultimately probably Ben Solo's friendship, right? And expect more from Ben. And so having this memory to access along with the accessing the memory of the parents. So again, some layers to Rey's character. This 13-year-old kid who has a bright future ahead of her that we still have more to discover. So this was a nice little story in one of the last issues of Insider ever come out. But that's what I got from this one. What do you think of this story?
Okay, so I thought about this in a completely different light, from a different angle.
Sure.
From what I remember, because it's been a while. I think it's been like 2 or 3 weeks since I read this.
Yeah,
it's been a bit. Is just how the information gets to her about the outside galaxy, and it's like very isolating to be on a planet like this, almost like Tatooine, where it's like, okay, you're stuck behind a shop. You've been living here by yourself for years now already. How does she know about Han Solo? So that was the big thing for me, is like, she learns about how he is so legendary, right? And it's always curious for me. I'm always intrigued when, and I think the latest run of the Star Wars comics, or actually it was in the Dr. Aphra miniseries, where they built up and they propped up Luke Skywalker as this ultimate hero in the galaxy, in universe. Like, we don't really see that often in the canon, in the timeline of like, oh yeah, these guys are like the superstars. Even with the recent reading of Revenge of the Sith by
Matthew Stover.
Exactly, Matthew Stover.
The novelization,
the way that you had Obi-Wan and Anakin, like everybody's seen them on the HoloNet. Like, these guys were front and center, the face of the Republic, of the Jedi Order. So the same thing here. It's kind of a cool effect of like, yeah, Rey knows about about Han, as we've seen in The Force Awakens, and this is how she gets her information, from these rogue traders that show up, and they're talking the talk, and some of the stuff might be, it's like playing a game of telephone almost. Like, you're learning people about their experiences through other people's third-party experiences that go down the line. Things change, become legends, they become myths, what's real, what's fake. So for me, it was cool to see. That's what I took away from the story. The one thing is just, all right, we're getting to see how information is shared, how long Rey's known about Han Solo, why she even reacts the way she does, is like fangirling out. Like, yeah, it's because she's been thinking about him for like 6 or 7 years,
Yeah, no, that was a great moment in the story. Well, great moment in the story where she hears the story about Han and the Falcon. And so, Kristen reading back into this, her moment, you're Han Solo and this is the Millennium Falcon. So adding layers to screen as it does. There you go. All right, we got a bunch to get through, including one we do want to camp out on a little more. So I'm gonna move it along to Young Jedi Adventures: The Trees of Kashyyyk. This is part of the training, I forget what it's called, training tales or training missions or something.
Training sessions.
Yeah.
Almost there.
That thing. Training sessions. I got there. Almost got there. You helped me get there. Training sessions. Young Jedi Adventures, which with the Daniel Jose Older comic that we have already looked at, I believe. Anyway, this one is written by Dave Scheidt, art and cover by Andy Duggan, colors by Dan Jackson, letters by Comicraft's Tyler Smith and Jemmy Betancourt. Piecing together a description. There wasn't much of one, but piece it together. Follow Kai Brightstar, Liz Soleil, and Nubs as they set off on missions across the galaxy to learn the ways of the Force. In this volume, Kai, Liz, and Nubs race Wookiees to climb the tallest trees on Kashyyyk. Chris, I'll throw this one to you. What do you think of Young Jedi Adventures: The Trees of Kashyyyk?
Well, first of all, great job on everybody involved at Lucasfilm for really getting the timing right on this one, because I had finished the Young Jedi Adventures series, season 3. 7 episodes came out literally the same, like the day before this came out with the trades. So, you got the 2 stories in there that you've already read if you picked up Free Comic Book Day, and they throw a bonus story, which is this one. I thought this is great. I think this is really nice to, again, the High Republic is in the rearview mirror, but every time we get to see these characters again, it makes me smile, especially like this far back in the time, like Nibisek is still there, Buriaga is there, and for me it was a really good lesson learned. It was cool seeing them on Kashyyyk, and it was funny seeing like the goofy looking Wookiee children just traipsing around the trees, but it was a really good strong message of like, hey, like sometimes you don't, the way it happened was like the kid Kai doesn't able to finish the race completely, but in being a good Samaritan and helping somebody fall down and picking them up and this sort of thing, that's what really mattered in the end. And that was such a great lesson. Is like, it's not always about the fastest person, but it's the person that's willing to stop and sacrifice their moment to shine to help somebody else. So I thought that was kind of a beautiful little story told in such a, a rather simple kind of thing here.
Yeah, I mean, my impression with Kai is he always, at least early, like season 1, gets in over his head. Like I remember that the one on Batu, where he's like, I'm gonna gonna do that obstacle course, and then he falls on his face. Here, I was expecting him to, but clearly this is maybe a few seasons in. This is probably kind of around season 3. He's been through a little bit of that, and now he's kind of holding his own. And it was this appreciation of his character that, of course, he'd go help this other Wookiee because he's been trained to. He's learned to do that. It's there wasn't much conflict or anything in this story, but like you said, it was a nice lesson to say, there's other ways to win other than winning the race by obviously saving someone's life here. But it was like a cute little lesson. I love the art style. It was of course the same as the animated art style, but Andy Duggan nailed it perfectly. I don't think he's been working on the show, but really the colors really popped and really came out, and so I'm excited. I want to sit down with my nieces and give this a read with them, but kind of curious to what they find out, because that's who I watched Jedi Adventures with. But yeah, it was showing Kai as someone who knows how to take action. And, the Jedi in this time, right? So
something dawned on me.
Mm-hmm.
Do you mind a spoiler for the last 5 minutes of the last episode of the Young Jedi Adventures?
That's fine. I mean, I haven't watched it yet, but go ahead.
So it looks like there's a partnership of, I don't think this ever existed in the Jedi Order, but it's worth talking about that. At the end there, you see a flash forward into the future.
Interesting.
And you see lists with I forget the name of the one master or the female that's always around them. Forget her name. So she's now as a Padawan with her. Then you have Nubs, who is, oh gosh, I forget who he's a Padawan of. But then it shows Kai Brightstar with Bell and with Buryaga.
Nice.
So I'm like, and it showed them that way multiple times in 2 different environments. So that's why I'm scratching my head. I'm like, they clearly showed the other characters were paired with one singular person.
Yeah.
But then have we ever seen a pair of Jedi co-training somebody?
We have.
Really?
Ahsoka Tano and Obi-Wan and Anakin. So my guess is that formally he's Bell's Padawan. But I mean, formally Ahsoka was Anakin's Padawan, but she learned tons. She hung around Obi-Wan tons.
What about Plo Koon? Wasn't she technically Plo Koon's a little bit too?
Well, Plo Koon rescued her.
True. Okay.
Rescued her from that Kate with that other Darksider. But yeah, found her, discovered her. But yeah, no, I think that's where my mind goes. But it's true, right? I mean, but if you get anyone who's going to be Bell's Padawan is going to be around Burry a lot too.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But it was nice to see Burry in this comic. Yeah, like you said, with Padawan Burry with Nibasik. So yeah, High Republic still going phase more, still going strong, still doing its thing.
Oh yeah.
That's about to with Pathfinders coming out.
Can't wait for that one.
It's gonna be great. All right, let's jump ahead a few centuries to Jedi. It's number 10. 10 of 10. This one was written by Mark Guggenheim, art by Madabek Muzabekov, colors by Luis Guerrero, letters by VC's Clayton Coles, and cover by Madabek Muzabekov and Jesus Abertov. The saga of Corlys Wrath concludes. Qui-Gon must finally confront Corlys Wrath and his memories. What secret lies in Qui-Gon's hidden past? And will Obi-Wan be able to help his master when it matters most? The great mystery of the fan favorite series revealed at last. And what a way to finish this run. What a way to take it out, in a year that was very... This is something we'll get into. We can spend a bit more time on this comic because it was a pretty great one. But in a year that really the only 2 comics to really stand out are this one and Legacy of Vader, and this one, finished on top. And just thinking more deeply about Qui-Gon and how at such a key point in his journey is overcoming the dark influence of his master. Right. We've only seen that a little bit. We see it in this comic explicitly. We see it maybe a little bit in was it Tales of the Jedi? Yeah. I forget which one that Dooku's in. Yeah, Tales of the Jedi. And but here, yeah, we see it explicitly saying Qui-Gon was literally said, was this impressionable youth that was led down this path by this master who I thought was training me in the right way, but turns out he was going in the wrong direction himself. And I mean, even blames Qui-Gon, Dooku blames Qui-Gon for having to kill all those folks. And man, it really drives home, you know, what toxic leadership is and how it really was. But also, you know, just to remember, it is so hard to go from, okay, here's my master, I gotta pay attention to what he says and actually basically obey him and follow what he says. And he has this authority over me. That's how this works, right? And I'm gonna trust that he's using this authority responsibly. And it is so hard to have the fortitude and the courage to say, no, he was not using this responsibly. He was leading me down a wrong path. He was telling me that violence is an answer and is a solution. And, you know, we got to resort to it. You know, and here he is saying it, you know, saying, okay, this coming back to haunt him. Dooku's sins are coming back to haunt him in this issue and throughout this run, right? Sorry. I'm okay. My voice isn't going. I just need to breathe. And Corliss Wrath, you know, he wants to kill Qui-Gon for shaming him for using the Force in this duel and for basically for killing his family, his whole tribe, his whole village. And you know, Qui-Gon's facing this threat, and at this time in his life, he's gone through this whole path of, no, Dooku was wrong. You know, I'm going to say, actually, violence doesn't have to be the answer here. I can turn off my lightsaber. Obi-Wan kind of rushes in. It is definitely, it has the Phantom Menace scene in view, right? You know, Qui-Gon is, you know, with the blast doors, blast screens, he's very serene, and Maul is very seething, and Obi-Wan is so restless, and then of course Qui-Gon does die there, but it is an honorable end, you know, as the soundtrack says. But yeah, it really hammered home that, and then kind of bringing into, you know, in conversation with Master and Apprentice, we see, okay, just how committed Qui-Gon is to Obi-Wan, that he turns down a seat on the council, right? He says, no, it's more important for me to spend my time and energy investing in the future of the Jedi Order. And Obi-Wan truly is, I mean, he becomes the future, not just, of course, during the Clone Wars, but with Luke, right? All the way. So Qui-Gon having this maybe a vague sense, but having the sense do that to really make sure he's using his authority in Qui-Gon, in Obi-Wan's life responsibly, and for the sake of training Obi-Wan to be the wisest, best Jedi he possibly can be, you know, serving the next generation. So that the last thing that this brings out, though, is we also see why Qui-Gon, you know, he's not like bitter or angsty about the Jedi the way Dooku is, but he holds their authority somewhat lightly, is maybe the best way to put it. And part of the thing I wonder why is because he's like, this Dooku guy. This is the kind of guy you promoted. This is the kind of guy you let slip through. No, thank you. You know, again, he's a lot more respectful. That's the thing. He's, you know, he plays ball with the council. But yeah, I mean, I think that whole journey of saying, yeah, this master I was given, this, you know, he wasn't the right way, really puts him in a position to say, I can be more sensitive to the Force directly. And the Force moves in mysterious ways, making good out of this bad situation. And here's this beautiful small example with Corlys Wrath, who Qui-Gon helps him turn a new page to. So beautifully done, beautifully written by Mark Guggenheim. Throw it to you. What do you think of this specific issue? And then we'll go to the run as a whole.
Yeah, this issue, I finished it and I texted you. I said, oh man, we got to get more Qui-Gon Jinn stories. This went off so well. Like this issue, I kind of hope that we get a series that's as tight as this last issue for like 5 to 10 issues straight like this. Because as much as I enjoyed all the anthology-esque antics of this entire run, whether it be giant creatures that are the size of buildings and running around with bounty hunters like Zam Wessel and Jango Fett, I think Mark Guggenheim really understands the character of Obi-Wan, Count Dooku, and Qui-Gon Jinn. Yeah. Like really understands them to the point where I've seen so many layers getting peeled away in these 22 pages or whatever this was, and just really great moments, like the part where Obi-Wan is dueling Corlys Wrath like one-on-one. That was awesome. Cool. Like the artwork by Madabek Musabakov really was shining through on that. Like just the amount of the flow and the kinetic nature of just this duel before we see him dueling Darth Maul. Like this is the kind of stuff I like. Like I like this interstitial content that really feels grand. It really feels kind of character defining for these people. And I just like the whole, I think they do a great job, the whole team, with juggling between the two timelines pretty effortlessly, just going back and forth. You're revealing stuff at this point, pays off in the present, and you're going back and forth several times by doing that. It's not easy to be able to juggle something like that. So I thought that was really well done. Just the moment that was like straight out of Return of the Jedi, where Qui-Gon just, turns off his saber. And then it was Obi-Wan that just like, it was an awesome moment when Obi-Wan threw the saber, like it ricocheted off Corlys Wrath's like his vibroblades. Then he uses the Force to like pull the saber back into his hand. Like that was expert level Jedi stuff right there. It was so cool. But yeah, I mean, it's just this issue makes you hate Count Dooku even more than you already do if you hate him already. Right? Just the idea that he just slaughtered this entire tribe of people and caused the shame of this one individual. Like, oh man, this guy was such a jerk. Such a jerk. And I think you put it better than I could have. Just like the idea of having to abide by your master and be respectful of your master, but then knowing when you're like, no, that's wrong. Like, I don't care if you're my master or not. Like, you shouldn't be doing that. Like, that's horrible. And then Dooku's all like, oh, well, we're never going to talk about this again. No one's going to know about this. It's like, also my gosh.
Red flag,
like, I am stuck in your lies. Like, what the hell is this? So I loved it. I thought it was great.
Yeah. I mean, it also makes me love Qui-Gon more. I mean, which didn't think was possible, but
yeah, I know exactly. So the Maverick Jedi, Jedi that is going against the grain. And oh gosh, the moment of how the book ends. I don't have the comic pulled up right now, but what Obi-Wan had said really resonated with me when he was just really like hit me in the feels when he's saying something. He's like, you inspire everyone, and it shows like all the Jedi masters that he had dealt with in this last 10 issues. There you go. And it was just like a nice, like, coming around full circle of how we began this series with this big epic action series with all these different introduction of Jedi. And then we're seeing, like, yeah, and it got me really thinking heavily about the what if situation of Qui-Gon was around. If he did not die by Darth Maul's hand, how would the Chosen One behave? That would be a whole nother thing. He probably wouldn't be Darth Vader at this point. But just like, what would the Council do with more Qui-Gon in their lives? Would they never become as dogmatic as they would be 10 years later? Like, what would that ramification look like? Because he is such an influence, as Obi-Wan said, like, you inspire, you are very influential with what you do. So that, like, this is what I mean. This is why this comic is so good, because it just gets us to understand and speculate and theorize about a storyline and a character that's been around for freaking 25 years.
Yeah, and only in one film. Great. Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, the point with Anakin is, I mean, part of the point of Qui-Gon is his absence from Anakin's life, right? That's what Filoni was saying in that Mandalorian special feature, right? That the fact is he doesn't have this kind of influence, and so it's really really wonderful to see the kind of influence that Qui-Gon has. I mean, that moment with Obi-Wan at the end there, it's this beautiful contrast, right? Like, Qui-Gon would never tell Obi-Wan, you have to lie for me. Like, no, he's like this almost Obi-Wan encouraging Qui-Gon, saying you've done so well. And yeah, I mean, I always have this deep respect for people who come out of toxic situations and are able to, I mean, pursue their own healing and then come through and actually be able to not simply replicate. Well, yeah, because I think there's a temptation maybe to replicate the way you were treated, or to say, oh, I'm not going to be like that. It's Dooku's influence either way is completely absent from Qui-Gon at this point, right? Just to say, oh, I'm not going to be like Dooku, that's still too much influence. Right? So yeah, really really digging into Qui-Gon's character, which, you know, I didn't entirely expect it would go this deep into his character, just because of the anthology nature of it. You know, when I talked to Mark about this at your Comic-Con 2024, he's like, oh, and by the way, there's a Qui-Gon through line. Right? Like, it was all pitched as this anthology series, which it was in a lot of ways. But yeah, you're right. I mean, at its core, your reaction at the end is it's a Qui-Gon story, and it holds up as one of the great Qui-Gon stories. So yeah, I do want to see, I mean, we've gotten this sort of implication of this moment where he transcends Dooku's influence, works through it. That'll be amazing. That'll be a novel. That'll be an amazing novel of Qui-Gon saying no to, and not just saying no, but saying this is no longer going to have any say in my life. You know. Yeah. So I don't know who. Yeah, Mark could probably, he could write a novel. Sure, why not?
Why not? He's written an entire series of DC characters called the Arrowverse. So yeah, this guy could do anything. Yeah, I can write scripts.
So maybe we can take a few minutes just talk about the run as a whole.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you said, it really hit on all these levels, and that's the brilliant thing about this, right? It did have such great action. Did go into all these different explored all these different corners, and the way the Jedi in this time are into all these different corners, like the Underworld, like, you know, these other planets. You know, man, that issue with the splash pages and the giants and very little dialogue. Was there any dialogue in that one? Maybe very little.
Couple lines by Bail Organa. That was about it.
Of Bail Organa, so not even a Jedi. And just, man, like, it's one thing, first of all, to take a creative swing. I'm always going to be like, okay, you took a creative swing, whether or not it landed. But man, this landed. This book really landed.
It did.
In the creative swings it took, both with Qui-Gon's character, as we've mentioned, but also, stories like that. The issue from the kids' perspective, like the things that Mark and them thought of, Madabek and Luis and them thought of to just give us different ideas and just try different things. And that this is the kind of inventiveness we need to see from Marvel. It's the kind of inventiveness we need to see from Star Wars, right? Like you think of, Last Jedi at 8, or something. Ryan Johnson speaking of that, like the inventiveness, the courage to try new things, just like Qui-Gon himself, right? He'd have the courage, the sensitivity to try new things. So more like this, please, Marvel. More books like this. I'll throw it to you. Then, looking back at the run as a whole, what stood out to you? What really worked for you in this one?
Yeah, I kind of glossed over it a little bit before when I was talking, but the idea of the playground that Mark Guggenheim and Metabek Musipakov, what a artist this guy is, because he is doing so many different genres, so many different things, from splash pages to mysterious, investigative, kind of like Attack of the Clones, noir type of things. There was like Shakti and Qui-Gon going around trying to find what's going on. And then we have Joel's favorite issue, I think, which is Aetha Prime. What was?
Aetha Prime. Yeah.
Like that whole thing with like the creatures that look like from Warhammer. It looks like the Tyranids from Warhammer 40K. Like those things are going around there. That guy's in the galaxy still. So it was the sure-footedness of being able to just change things up on a monthly basis, on an issue basis. Go, hey, let's try this. Star Wars hasn't really done this before. Let's try this. And I think this comic was the perfect breeding ground for it, because there were a couple issues that maybe were completely like detached from the Qui-Gon story, but they were still fun to read, and they were still like a nice little like break, I guess, to kind of be like, oh, look at this little story over here. Shining a light on characters we don't get a lot from is always a nice thing. Like another Alice Sakura story was really neat. One of the standout ones for me was the Padawan, the youngling story, where it was all from a first person perspective. I thought that was brilliant. Really cool stuff. And then Kellerman Beck at the end there, saving the youngling, and just seeing the emotion like that. Reading that story got me emotional, because it's like I felt like I was a character. Like the perspective, really, the POV really worked for me in that sense, where it's like, oh yeah, we're getting to see how the Jedi, the kids are not taken, but they're actually giving a choice, and the parents are giving a choice, and it's this beautiful but really just melancholy filled moment of, yeah, I'm probably not going to ever see you again, kind of thing. And it's heartbreaking, really, but it goes against what a lot of the people in our reality are saying about the Jedi. Oh, they steal kids, or the Sith and the Empire would always say that. Oh, they're just kid stealers, and nah, it's not the truth. So again, they're peeling back layers, and Mark Guggenheim is able to add this lore and able to really embellish what it's like to be. And this is where my closing statement is, what it's like to be a Jedi Knight before a big war. What is a Jedi Knight supposed to be? They're supposed to be mediating things. There's like trade agreements with the Trade Federation with Newt Gunray at one point. There's all these things that are not as grand as the Clone Wars or as conflicts with the Nile and the High Republic, but this is the sort of things that we would hope that the Jedi would always be in charge of, and unfortunately they went and became extinct. But we got a good look at what they do, which is cool.
Yeah, it definitely gave a good kaleidoscope. And just, you mentioned those kind of standalone issues. I never felt like, okay, great, when are we going to get back to the main story? I never felt like that. They never felt like the dreaded word filler, whatever. They always felt like, this is now part of that is the expectation that was set for us was that would be kind of more like what it is, but you still got to tell a good story. You still got to write a good story and draw a good story, and they did. So, I think Joel's one criticism would be more Aether Prime. That'd be an interesting thing that they kind of raise that, but don't pick it up. Yeah, there's opportunity to in the future, maybe. So, I don't know. All right, before we move on, any last thoughts on Jedi Knights number 10, Jedi Knights overall? I think you're muted. Oh, I can't quite hear you. Hit your microphone.
Oh, okay. Give us a season 2. Give us season 2. Come on, Marl.
There we go. Yeah, I agree. Fun times. All right, last story, last comic of the night, and then we got one more thing to get into. Tales from the Nightlands, also number 3 of 3, written by Kevin Scott, art by Robert Hack, letters by Comic Craft's Tyler Smith and Jimmy Benincourt, cover by Francesco Francavilla. I don't know why that went away. There we go. Here's the cover. I got a physical copy, believe it or not, because it came out last week. That's why. As the First Order spreads fear across the galaxy, Leia, Rey, Chewie, and Finn rush to deliver aid to a Twi'lek colony. But upon arriving, they find something much worse than stormtroopers, the terrifying Nightlander. The heroes must scramble to stop the otherworldly feed. Lest it escape into the land of the living and make the galaxy its ghastly domain. Chris, I picked the wrong thing. So I'll throw this to you. What do you think of Tales from the Nightlands number 3?
Oh, this is really cool for the sequel fans. I think this does a lot. I think there's just seeing scenes between Finn and Rose, right, in between Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker is already adding to so much, again, of the lore, of so much of these characters really got along well, but we didn't see much of it happening in Rise of Skywalker, though. So it was nice to see that happening. Mm-hmm. I really liked this character of Daisha. I think you would pronounce it that way. Just this character that is the through line of all 3 issues, starting off as a kid in the prequels and as like a young adult in the original trilogy. Now it's just an old woman seer. Yeah. And it's cool because like Leia was with her in the previous issue number 2 during the reign of the Empire. Now we're seeing her during the reign of the First Order. So we're getting to see how characters just get old, right? They get old, they get grizzled, but they're no less the wiser. They are wiser now. Mm-hmm. And it was interesting that the artwork in these have always been really, really good. Seeing Naga, like just the gigantic spider like creepy thing.
Yeah, that was bonkers.
Really, really, really crazy and out there. And it was just a nice way how they ended it. I thought it was a nice way to go out this big fight. And they take this character down with hope. Hope is the ultimate. Well, yeah, because I don't have the physical issue yet. Yeah. That's pretty wow. It's really awesome.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
Grotesque. The Ian McKegg thing. Yeah, I mean, Leia not getting phased by it. I mean, her eyes go black, but she just refuses to give in to despair. She refuses to. Mm-hmm. She's seen it all, right? That's the thing. She's seen the rise of the Empire and then the fall of the Empire, and now she's seen the rise of the First Order and the fall of the First Order. Like she said, I've worse monsters than you, because the Nightlander here is just a literal monster, whereas Darth Vader, her father, and the Empire. Palpatine's kind of a literal monster too, but systemic monsters, right? These ideological monsters that she's confronted. So here she's able to say, yeah, this is just a whatever. So speaking of age, right? The age and experience and being able to relativize this kind of threat in a way that, Finn and Rey, they do their best, and they do. And it shows how, like you mentioned with Rose, because it's not Rose, it's the Nightlander pretending to be Rose, but that Finn has this connection with her that we want to see more explored more, please. But yeah, then to see Daisha, really, I mean, you get aged, you get people believe you less. The young folks are like, oh, this your old peddling superstition kind of thing. Where I think when she's a young adult, she's more respected, but kind of almost full circle when she's a kid, she's also well, you this weird superstition about your grandfather. Well, here she is again. Yeah, I mean, it does give a great snapshot about where the galaxy is at this point in terms of people not so much believing in the Force and not really them believing in the First Order threat, but Leia. Sorry, what's these? Oh, Leia. She believes that the First Order threat is real, but that that isn't something to be phased by. It's like Luke's Force Ghost says in Rise of Skywalker, confronting fear, is the legacy. So yeah, not that Leia's necessarily a Jedi, but still she's Skywalker. So yeah, all in all, Calvin Scott weaving in this great story, great comic. Too bad it was only 3 issues. I get why, it worked well. I think in this format, but I want to see more like this. It definitely earned just the 3 issues in the sense of one per trilogy. For sure. That original trilogy issue, that art in that one was maybe my favorite art of a comic book all year. Just saying something, because there's been a lot of great art. But in both Marvel and Dark Horse. But yeah, again, definitely probably my favorite of these tales, these Kevin Scott tales. Also, just because it went more into Force mysticism and more into it went really deep into all these characters. And even here we have a mention with Leia with her father, right? That Anakin as a kid, and bringing that back into the sequel era. So Kevin Scott pulling the whole saga together in this way. I mean, this could be a good. I hesitate to use the word formula, but this could be a good way of writing these through line stories. I think there was one in Legends. Oh, what was it called? Vector, where there's this time traveling sort of or something sort of in cryostasis, and he goes through all these different eras. So similar kind of thing. That could get overused, but it would be a cool concept to just ways of exploring the connections between the trilogies is what I'm getting at. So this was a great example in an all ages comic. So yeah. You're
right. This was the best connected. I think they did a brilliant job with just the way interweaving these storylines, and doing stuff with the Resistance. Right? We forget like sometimes that the Resistance was what it is. It's a resistance. It's under the board, under the radar kind of thing. They have to do the grassroots way of recruiting. Leia's out there trying to get this Twi'lek guy to be like, yeah, we'll support you, but then this happens, and they're able to get the support. So it's like, yeah, we'll help you with this, then you can help us, kind of thing. It's really nice always seeing these references to the High Republic in terms of our original OG characters, like Leia talking about, the Resistance is getting these seeds from Hetzel.
Right. Yeah.
So that was a nice little touch where I'm going, oh yeah, give us more of that. Give us more of that, kind of like the Starlight Squadron back in the pre-Return of the Jedi, Luke Skywalker era there. So
yeah, I mean, Calvin Scott, Charles Soule, they're gonna bring in Team Luminous. They're gonna do the thing. You don't have to have been on Team Luminous in order to do it, but you can count on them to bring it forward. Also, the Resistance after Crate, right? We haven't seen much of that. There's the Rebecca Rowan Horse novel, but that's closer to Rise of Skywalker. We've seen Charles Soule, speaking of which, has given us Kylo Ren after Crate, and after the events of The Last Jedi. But let's see the story of the Resistance building itself up. That would be an interesting one too. So there we go. Any last thoughts on Tales of the Nightlands overall? There you go. All right, we have one last thing to get into.
Big thing.
Pretty big thing, although it's only 5 issues, but finally, we have some
Another
news
tie-in.
because, and it's a tie-in to boot. This probably they did this last week because the solicits no, wrong thing again. What's going on there? The solicits come out tomorrow, and so they were like, okay, this probably is going to be the only thing in tomorrow's solicits. Marvel announcing Shadow of Maul, new 5-issue comic written by Benjamin Percy. Speaking of Maul, speaking of Madabek Muzabekov doing the art for this, and Derek Chu, who does the covers for Legacy of Vader, is doing the direct edition covers for Maul Shadow Lord. No, not Maul Shadow Lord, Shadow of Maul. It's kind of flipping around the title here. I don't know, that doesn't trying to play with this. Okay, there we go. That's fine. As you can see, you can see that beautiful cover there. So this issue number 1 hits shelves on March 4th. So that's why the March solicits are tomorrow. And so here you go. In the Marvel.com article, talks about this. The upcoming animated show, here's Maul Shadow Lord, will reveal Maul's plan to rebuild his criminal syndicate on Janix, a planet untouched by the Empire. This is on the Marvel.com website. This isn't on Star Wars. This is on Marvel.
Yeah, weird.
The Star Wars Shadow of Maul comic series introduces this new setting of Janix and cast, including Captain Brander Lawson and his partner, a droid nicknamed Two Boots, as they investigate shadowy dealings on Janix. Kind of reminding me of Holland Goth and Nines a little bit. There we go. So I mean, that's the premise of it. I'll show this Bjorn Barron's cover variant.
Ooh.
And on when this broke last week on Blue Sky, I kind of made this joke that this cover, it's really cool. It's either all of us clenching for more comics news, or is it Marvel and Lucasfilm holding on to all their future plans? But finally some news, something, and it's a tie-in.
Yeah,
Chris, what was your response last week? What have you thought of it since?
Oh yeah, first response was like, yeah, they're running out of time. It's like either we're gonna get something or they're gonna have 0 comics in 1 month, which I don't think has happened since they got the license back in 2015. So that would have been interesting. But I wasn't expecting this. I wasn't expecting a tie-in to an upcoming Star Wars animated series that we also know very little about. I was hoping for a trailer. We're gonna darn 5-issue comic miniseries. That's better than a damn trailer, if you ask me. So I'm very over the moon, very overjoyed with this. I mean, one of the last pieces of the old EU was we got the Son of Dathomir 5-issue comic series canonized up. Yep. So that was really awesome. And now we're getting this other puzzle piece with Maul. And this gave me vibes of that canceled Darth Maul video game where he was going around in the seedy underbelly. It might have even been level 1313, and there was the rain or the moisture, and he was going around the shadows in a cyberpunk looking-esque environment. And that's what exactly it sounds like with this, is he's going around. It looks like our POV character is this captain, this investigator, if you will. So it's going to be cool to get to see like Maul through the eyes of this guy that is maybe in over his head. So
well, like that even brings up more Master of Evil vibes here, right? Like Holland Goth a little bit with Vader.
Yeah.
Of course, in that case, this is this Captain Brander Lawson. I mean, in that case, he's Goth isn't trying to take down Vader here. I think he's probably going to at least keep tabs on Maul, because here's the guy running around with another guy running around with a red lightsaber. That Sheev ain't going to be too happy about that, as we know. So yeah, that really, really excited and enthused by this, and also because it's going to sell well, because it's tying it into a screen property. I mean, here's the thing: is we're always like, how well do these do story wise, because the black box and all that. But I think this one has the makings of something being doing well on its own, and as something that kind of gives a feel. It's obviously not going to give any kind of much detail with the show, although we don't know when the show actually airs. So
I have speculation about that.
Yeah. Look, well, what do you think? What do you think? When do you think it's going to
I think Dominic might have hit the nail on the head on the podcast this week, Star Wars Underworld, because he had said, or last week, he had said, like, and they've done this. Marvel's done this. It's not something they haven't done where they do a much faster release of these issues.
Yeah.
I don't think we're waiting month to month on this. I think we might get an issue, like maybe if it's not every week, maybe every other week, and then by the end that's over. Then they have the show come out. I would love to see that.
Yeah.
Heck, like maybe that's why that's why March is so slow the way it is. I feel like maybe they got everything else out of the way because they can't have like 4 comics from Marvel coming out the same week. So like, all right, we'll get everything cleared out of the way. That way we can have Maul for the next 5 weeks straight. There's nothing else. So it's going to get the customers to focus on just buying Maul as the series because it's going to be so impactful because they've had these scripts for years and years because the lead time on animation is so long.
True.
So they could have been coordinating with the writer here for a long time. And they even say it themselves in the article. They said they've seen the episodes. They know they've read the scripts.
Yeah.
So this could be very much like a Catalyst James Lucino situation with Rogue One, where we're going to get the whole thing ahead of time. If you really want to get into the nitty gritty, you're going to have to read this comic, which means you're going to have to go up to your comic store every week for 5 weeks.
Yeah. That'd be nice. That'd be nice. I mean, might find that out tomorrow.
Yeah.
What the release schedule is for that. Yeah. I mean, I think it's possible. I don't know if they're gonna do that model. I mean, that would be another creative swing on Marvel's part and Lucasfilm's part. Would explain why there's nothing else. It's true. Of course, we'll get April solicits in January, and maybe there'll be more announcements. I mean, credit to Joel, his thought of, when there are eyeballs on the screen, then maybe they'll announce more comics and more novels when these shows are going. So, and when the Mando and Grogu movie picks up, I mean, that is how the MCU and the Marvel universe work as well. So, they have, I think I mentioned this on Monday, they often have when there's an MCU film or a series, they often have a comic that is kind of the Marvel Comics version of this MCU character. So for example, was it not Hulk, the Wanda Maximoff's son in oh gosh, not Warlock. What's his name? In the Agatha All Along, that series. So that series drops. This character, he's been around for a while. He has his own story in the comics. And he gets his own run, kind of like called The Witch's Road, that is new to the comics, was not from the comics, from the MCU. So I think they're sort of taking a page, and it does work. It does seem to be a good business sense. It's only going to be 5 issues, but I mean, that kind of makes sense too. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm definitely excited for the love. I love the synergy with the logo.
Yeah,
it's definitely different than the Darth Maul Black, White, and Red, which also by Benjamin Percy, by the way. And the other Maul runs. This is this new kind of darker, almost darker, edgier in a way, because also it's later, right? It's picking up on it's. I mean, here's the thing: this show and this comic, I love it because love that we're getting a comic because what we know with the successor to Maul in Crimson Dawn, Kira, right? We got that in the comics too. So, yeah, seeing what kind of threads might be picked up there. So, I'm gonna buy this variant. This is a great variant too. So, looking forward to that. Again, hits shelves March 4th. again, hopefully, last thing I'll say, hopefully it does have more meaty story, more weighty story. They aren't too worried about the black box that much, because that's hampered Star Wars storytelling before. But yeah, here we go. Maul, Shadow of Maul, March 4th. Any last thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I mean, I just want to see some really cool seedy criminal stuff here. I think this is going to really lead us in very well. I like the idea of you're just on a solitary planet. Reminds me a lot of Bad Batch in a way, where they were stuck on Ord Mantell for a while, wherever they were.
Yeah.
Like we're gonna just take time to flesh out. And this is my thoughts on the series, the actual animated series overall. Is like season 1 is going to be like Star Wars Rebels, right? You're going to be on Lothal for most of the time. You're going to be on Janix for like 90% of the time. You're fleshing out this planet. Then season 2 and season 3, and I would imagine it's going to get at least 3 seasons, hopefully.
Just hoping.
Those were, we'll see like the Crimson Dawn really spread its wings and see it start to get into all these different things. And like in a solo Star Wars story, we see that, we hear that story that person sang in Savarine, but the horrors of the Crimson Dawn and the 5 ruling families, the crime world. Like I want to start seeing all that stuff start to take place. So it's just finally we're getting a proper tie-in. I feel like this one's really going to nail it, just from just the idea that it's an animated series. We haven't heard any drama about it. I think there's been usually animation works very smoothly for the most part. Nothing like the counterparts in live action. So
yeah, that's true. They definitely, I mean, they're continuing on with the Clone Wars season 7 style into Bad Batch, into this. I mean, in Clone Wars season 7, we got in the bowels of Mandalore, we got Maul chatting with all these folks, including the character whose name
Dryden Voss.
That guy. We gotta see him in the show.
Old Vision Paul Bettany.
We gotta see Dryden Voss in the show. Maybe we see him in this comic. So yeah. Again, I hope they show good story. Give us a good story. Give us a good Underworld.
Don't hold it back.
Yeah, I mean, this is a Marvel comic. This isn't the Dark Horse All Ages. I want black, white, and red level action here.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm all for
severed limbs go flying across the frame.
I mean, why not? Like, look, I'm all for Mark Guggenheim giving a pacifist Qui-Gon. That's great. My when I'm upholding my moral beliefs, that's what I want. But I also want to suspend my moral disbelief here and say, yeah, just give us some kick and button taking names, because that's Maul. I mean, dig into the character, be true to the character, right? So,
and that's what gets me excited too. Is Benjamin Percy has worked on Darth Maul Black and Red, so he's done the violence already. He's just channeled that into a canonical. I mean, Black, White, and Red is not said as not canonical, but I mean, like, this is straight up canon because it is tying directly into a series. So, like, this stuff is very, very. I mean, we've had a lot of Darth Maul stories. Like, I like the was it just called Darth Maul? Like the mini series with Cad Bane.
Cad Bane was in that one. We definitely have.
You don't remember that one? It was like the early years of Marvel.
I know there was
2017 run, I think.
Well, there's the one where Palpatine takes him to Malachor, and he hunts down his Padawan. I remember that one.
That one, yeah, he's hunting down that Padawan, the Twi'lek. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, well, that was good.
That was good. So we have reference points here. I'd be like, there's been really good quality Maul stories. This has got to be another one.
Yeah, I mean, Madabek Muzbekov. He's done. He was the main author artist on Jedi Knights.
Yes,
main artist on a lot of the Charles Soule here on the whole Charles Soule run and whatnot. I did one of the issue of Obi-Wan, X-Men Red, Judgment Day, different things. Yes, he's done the gamut here. He did Crimson Reign, apparently. Did he? Maybe at least part of it. He was in on that too. So like the whole Crimson Saga. So yeah, definitely has his space wizards with laser swords credentials. So here's a dark space wizard with a red laser sword. Let's see what it is. And this is the Bjorn Barons variant though, also, which is awesome. So there we go. All right. I think that's about it. Any last thoughts? Any final words?
Oh man, another year of comics, punditry in the books. Another year for this stuff, right? So, hey, thanks for everybody for tuning in. Thanks for everybody. We had a lot of these chat. We had apparently people from Brazil chatting away here. So, tell your friends about us. Come in. We'll be back in 3 weeks, about 3 weeks time, in the first week of 2026. Really got good solid stories that we've had this past year. It's been a little strange, I'm not gonna lie. It's just like, okay, what's the main direction here? We're finishing up High Republic, we're getting more stories with Jedi Knights, it's been nice in the fact that we've been getting the different eras their own time to breathe. Like we've gotten Luke stories with Han Solo again, with Leia. We're getting stories with the Jedi Knights. We're getting stories with the sequel characters, like, oh my gosh, the amazing Kylo Ren stories happening in Legacy of Vader. So, and everything in between, little one shots here, a little miniseries here and there. So it's been a solid year for people. I think there's been something for everybody, you know. While there's not a massive crossover, we didn't have any massive crossovers this year. I was kind of getting exhausted by them, honestly. So it's nice that we're getting, like, it's interesting that Marvel's really taking a different approach this year. We'll see what happens with 2026, because that slate is very, very clear. They could come out tomorrow and be like, oh, by the way, we have 3 new comics coming out in April or March. It would be March. We'll see. I don't think that's happened before, but we'll see about it. But I mean, it's been good. It's been fun just getting on here every week and talking about our enjoyment of Star Wars comics. And you know, I'm not shy to stay away from negative stuff. I'll say it like it is from time to time, but I think we've been relatively positive on most of the stuff that has come out this year. So
I mean, well, that's the interesting thing, right? We've been positive where it's earned it, and we've been a little head scratchy when it's earned a bit of a head scratch, right? Because that's the thing, right? We were in. So this is what I was saying on Monday, is the whole theme of 2025, just screen, even novels, comics, everything has been transition. The end of High Republic. The end of High Republic is a major transition on the paper side. You know, and or season 2 and Skeleton Crew, you know, this transition, really all the energy on the films coming out. And here we go. You know, Star Wars, where's the Star Wars run going? We know it's probably going to be ending at 10. Is it that one? Is it also a bit of a head scratcher? The Afro one was a bit of a head scratcher. Legacy of Vader and Jedi Knights in any other year would also be one of the top comics of the year. So 2 all-time greats. And I mean, the novels, that's another thing we said. You know, we've said that the novels are the real standouts for this year.
Agreed.
But
I mean, even the solo story going right now with the Falcon is really good. I don't think enough people are talking about it. I think it's a sleeper hit. I think that is going to be referenced a lot. Like, hey, you want to know what's going on with Han right before Force Awakens? You got to pick this one up, you know?
What's going on with him, right? Like internally, which is, Rodney Barnes doing a great job with that one as well. It's 5 issues. So that one actually ends January 7th. So that'll be one of the books we pick up. There are 3 more books coming out this year. One on Christmas Eve. Is that right? Did I get that? Yeah. One's coming on Christmas Eve. That's Star Wars number 8. Ugh, this stupid timer thing. Sorry, 1 second, guys. 1 second. Timer off. There we go. One's coming on Christmas Eve. Star Wars number 8. Bad Batch Rogue Age. This is a comic book starting New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
All right, of course. Bad Batch Rogue Agents #1, and Boba Fett Black, White, and Red #4. So that one's concluding. Speaking of Benjamin, no, not Benjamin Purcell. I don't know I forget who's writing that one, but yeah, as you see, that's Christmas Eve. I'll be busy. New Year's Eve, you'll be busy. Hopefully, I'll be busy too. So we're taking a break. We're gonna pick all these up. We're gonna talk about these in the new year. We have it all figured. I have it all figured out. I have a spreadsheet, guys. I literally have a spreadsheet. So don't you worry. I've had a spreadsheet since the summer, I think. So, oh no, I think I've had a spreadsheet since New York Comic Con 2024. I think I've had that going. So, there you go. Chris can attest. He's seen the spreadsheet. But yeah, I mean, definitely looking forward to sticking with Clone Force 99. I mean,
hell yeah,
they're a gift that keeps on giving.
Yep.
Boba Fett, Black, White, and Red. That's been a fun run. A different take on the Black, White, and Red, Black, White, Blood thing. And yeah, Star Wars #8. See if Alex Segura can pull some kind of coherence. I think I know that sounded kind of again head scratchy, but it has started to pull together. And I think if we read it all in one, it's going to feel more like it holds together, especially if they spend more time with Leia and Mon Mothma there. But yeah, that one definitely looking like it'll end at 10. So yeah, comics ending.
Yeah.
So good.
It looks. I mean, yeah, you're right. We still have 3 more issues, which is a lot of real estate to cover in a comic book. And they're going off to war. Like they're going to the Nagai planet, the home planet, I guess, in the unknown regions or something like that, or at least close to it. But that should be pretty epic, right? We've seen a lot of good stuff in the last issue, so I feel like it will end strong. But yeah, I mean, Boba Fett is great. Rogue Agents, though, I mean, Bad Batch the last 365 days have been really going heavy with this series, whether it be from the amazing novel Sanctuary to the really brilliant first season of these comics with Dark Horse. I also seen some concept art that they released. We never talked about it, but they have brand new like elite clones that are getting introduced in Rogue Agents that have like their own names, their own concept designs, like you would see from like the old Clone Wars and Rebels, like little concept art with like they're like different markings. They look like a cool elite group of clones, and it looks like they have the Phase 1 armor. So we're pretty early into Clone Wars with the story, it looks like, which is cool because like they can make Bad Batch stories forever, essentially. Just give them a new mission, another 5 issues. It should be fun.
Yeah, there we go. Also, again, nice to see them actually continue a story, either Dark Horse or Marvel, carrying it into a second run here. So yeah, Rogue Agents #1. Yeah, it's gonna be a good 3 weeks. Good few comics, and then we'll be back at it in 2026. But let's get back to the plugs. Chris, been a fun year, even if the comics some have been massive hits, some have been interesting. You definitely every Wednesday night, it's been a joy. Thank you for continuing on this journey. Where can they find you on the internet?
Yeah, certainly. Likewise. You can find me over on Twitter, twitter.com/StarRaptor, where I'll be talking about Star Wars, video games, DC, Marvel, and more. And over on youtube.com/StarRaptor, the aforementioned podcast, I think I mentioned it, Outer Rim Transmission. We'll be doing something similar to you guys that you just did yesterday or 2 days ago. We'll be doing our year in review for Star Wars as well. So come in and enjoy the stream. We'll be going live this upcoming Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern, bringing everything down from books to TV series to good stuff. And then we'll come back next year. We'll also take a 2-week break there. We'll be back next year to talk about what's coming next in 2026, a big preview. So we got a couple big shows coming up over the next couple weeks over there. youtube.com/StarRaptor for that. But yeah, happy New Year, happy holidays to everybody out there, whatever you celebrate. Enjoy time with your family, your friends, and hopefully you get some cool Star Wars comics to read by the by the fireplace or something.
Yep. Yeah, definitely check out your local comic book shop for those books. You can follow my personal Instagram, MNUG38 1138 MNUG 1138. Diving into Rise and Fall of the Galactic Empire, finishing that book finally. About to do that, and of course that's also my Threads and Blue Sky personal Twitter, NEUG485, and then right back here for my last podcast of 2025 on Canon. Joel and I are talking about symbolism in Star Wars. It's kind of another one-off. Why not? Symbolism of Star Wars this Monday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Pacific, right here on the Underworld YouTube channel and wherever you get your podcasts. But yeah, it's been fun. It's been a blast. And we will, where is this? We will see you in 2026.